You're listening to the Small Business Talk podcast with Cathy Smith. Episode 8.
Small Business Talk is a podcast for business owners and entrepreneurs who want a better way to run their businesses without spending years doing it the hard way. Small Business Talk is hosted by Cathy Smith, who has run the same marketing agency for more than 17 years and helped hundreds of business owners achieve their marketing goals.
Hey, I'm so glad you could join us. Today, we are continuing our series, our 3-part series on 3 things to do before spending money on marketing. If you haven't listened to the first one in this series, Finding the Right Audience, I suggest you stop and go back to episode 6 and listen to that episode first. Now that you have established your audience, what next? I'm glad you asked. Stop thinking about marketing as selling. Instead, add value. Think about marketing as a relationship. Years ago, my gran used to go down to the butcher's before there were supermarkets, and she would talk to the butcher each week when she went down, and he really got to know her. So he would ask her what she was doing for the weekend and what meat she needed. On this particular occasion, she said, "Oh, I'm having my sister over and we're going to have a barbecue." And the butcher said, "Some rump steak would be perfect for you. Would you like that cut in 3 different ways?" And she said, "Yes, of course." He said, "I'll do a thin one for you because you like your steak well done. I'll do a medium one for your sister because she likes it medium. And I'll do a really thick one for your husband because I know he likes to have his steak thick, almost medium rare." By doing this, the butcher had got to know my gran and what she liked in her meat. So even when the supermarket did come along later, she continued to go to this butcher until he closed because she knew the quality, she knew he knew what she wanted, and he always suggested things when she came in. Now, in this day and age with digital, we can really get to know our customers and we can serve up the same sort of things quite easily. So think about if you were going to ask somebody to marry them. You can't ask for marriage without courting first, but that's essentially what a lot of people do with their marketing. Marry me, marry me, marry me. Okay, they're not actually asking you to marry them, but they're asking for the sale. They're just throwing sales messages at you all the time. What you need to do is build a relationship. Add value before asking for the sale. Nobody wants to come across like a car salesman. What problem does your customer have? And how can you solve it? Identify the problem. Notice I said problem, not problems, plural. Deal with one problem at a time and how you can help. Sometimes you need to identify this problem for the customer because they may not actually realize it. So one problem at a time for your ideal customer. Nike's customer's problem is sports shoes. So they started there. Once they had that right, then they went on to other problems like sports apparel. A cake shop solves its problems. It might be a birthday cake. The customer could be a 50-plus lady that doesn't have the time, skill, or knowledge to make a birthday cake that will really impress her friends. The cake shop could build a relationship by talking about popular flavours, maybe the top 5 flavours in its marketing. It could also talk about ideas for cake decorations. It might do a combined promotion with a balloon hire company, or feature a downloadable invitation, and then show that customer the latest chocolate fudge sundae, which is their most popular birthday cake in insert month. That would be adding value, but still letting the customer know that they have cakes to buy without being pushy or salesy. Customers, your ideal customers, love to buy. However, they don't want to be sold to. So let them make a choice rather than trying to sell them. So recently I bought a dishwasher. I'd done my research. I knew exactly the model I wanted. I called up one shop. Once I'd made the decision, of course, I wanted it there and then, and they didn't have any in stock. Called up another shop, and oh yes, they had some. So I went in and I had a look. Now, when I got there was actually 3 models that were very similar. Mostly did what I needed them to do. Standing there, I wasn't quite sure which one. I was very clear about the one I wanted when I was at home, and when I got to the shop, I was a little bit confused. A lovely sales assistant came over, and I said to her, "This is the one I want." And she said, "That's fine." I opened it and showed it to me and everything. And then she said, "By the way, what is your most important feature?" I explained to her, and she said, "On the front of this one, it has the child-free options so that none of the buttons are showing so that they can't press it. Is that something you need?" My children are grown up, or almost. So no, I didn't need that. So I said, "No, that didn't matter." She said, "Well, actually, if you come around the corner here, I can show you another model which does almost identical to the one that you were looking at, except for it doesn't have that new feature. It also doesn't have this other feature, which once again was surplus to my needs." She said, "This is a run-out model, and it's on special, and it's going to save you $250. That did exactly my needs. Was perfect for what I wanted. There I had the choice. I could get the one that I'd come in to buy, or I could buy this new one that she'd shown me. You know what I did. By explaining the difference and helping me out and listening to what my needs were, this shop assistant was perfect. She didn't try to sell me. She didn't tell me I was buying the wrong model. She just gave me the facts and let me make the choice to buy. So remember, your customers want to buy. And mostly by the time they come to you, if you've done your marketing right, they will be in that ready to buy. But they don't want to be sold to. So give them a choice, give them options. Not too many, because if they get confused, then they won't buy. But just be helpful. So remember to add value to your customer's journey, and they will be happy to buy from you. Like I said at the beginning, if you haven't listened to episode 6, The Right Audience, I think you would find it very valuable to go back and listen to it. If you are stuck on trying to work out your exact ideal customer, or sometimes called your customer avatar, then go to the show notes for episode 6, smallbusinestalk.com.au/006. And there you can download the customer avatar worksheet that's listed at the bottom. Work through that, and that will give you plenty of ideas on how to define your target, your ideal customer. In 2 weeks' time, I will finish this 3-part series we're doing on 3 things to do before spending money on marketing by talking about story, about what it is, why it's important, and how you can help your customers. I hope you've enjoyed the 2 parts of this 3-part series so far. Look forward to seeing you next week when we're talking to an employment lawyer who's going to give you suggestions on your first hire or things to do to check to make sure that you've hired correctly. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Don't forget to subscribe to Small Business Talk podcast and head on over to smallbusinestalk.com.au/downloads for all the show notes and links to this episode. Remember, to be great, you must start. Pick one tip from today's episode, take action and implement it. Let's meet again next week at the same time and place. Until then, take action. And SBT community, enjoy your journey.